Ethan adjusted the straps of his spacesuit and peered through the thick glass of his shuttle's cockpit. The planet below stretched endlessly, vast plains of violet grass, rivers that shimmered in blue and green, and forests filled with towering, twisting trees that seemed almost alive. Sensors indicated no hostile life forms nearby, but Ethan knew better than to trust readings completely. This was uncharted territory, and in such places, the unexpected was always waiting. The mission was simple, or at least it had been supposed to be. Scout the planet, collect environmental data, and ensure no threats existed that could affect human colonies in the sector. Yet something about this world felt different. The air seemed heavier, almost charged, and the quiet hum of the shuttle's engine sounded strangely muted against the backdrop of this alien landscape. Ethan landed near a clearing, the shuttle's landing gears sinking slightly into soft violet soil. As the hatch opened, a breeze swept past, carrying a scent he couldn't identify, a mixture of minerals, flowers, and something almost sweet. It was not unpleasant, but it made him tense. He grabbed his scanner and stepped carefully onto the ground. "Just stay calm," he muttered to himself. "Survey, data, no mistakes." He moved through the tall grass, scanning for any signs of life. Most of the readings were small animals, insects, or plants. Nothing aggressive. That was until he heard it, a soft, hurried sound that made his heart skip. "Ethan?" He froze. The voice was small, trembling, but unmistakable. It was a human-like tone, yet carried a strange accent of syllables he had never heard before. He scanned the area around him, pulse quickening. "Hello?" he called carefully, keeping his voice low and non-threatening. Suddenly, a small figure bolted from behind a cluster of alien bushes. It was a child, or at least child-sized, about 5 or 6 in height. Her skin was a soft lavender, her eyes enormous and golden, and her hair seemed to float slightly, moving as if underwater. She ran with incredible speed straight toward him, arms outstretched. "Dad!" she shouted, her voice echoing across the clearing. Ethan's jaw went slack. He stumbled backward, trying to comprehend what he had just heard. "Dad?" he repeated, his own voice barely a whisper. "Wait, I'm not..." The child didn't seem to hear him. She threw herself at him, wrapping her tiny arms around his waist. He felt the warmth of her body, the rapid beating of her heart, and the desperation in her grip. His mind raced. He had never met this child before. He did not know her, and yet she had called him Dad. "What's happening?" he muttered under his breath. He gently held her at arm's length, studying her face. Who are you?" The child blinked up at him, golden eyes wide with tears, but also with something else, trust, relief, and hope. I ran away," she said, her voice trembling. They said I had to come back." "I don't want to, I want..." You, Ethan's mind spun. "They? Who said you had to come back?" Before the child could answer, a shadow passed over them. Ethan looked up instinctively. Standing on a ridge partially hidden among the twisted trees was a tall figure, majestic and terrifying. She moved with a regal grace, her presence dominating the landscape without a single word. Her armor shimmered, reflecting the sunlight in sharp, dazzling rays. She raised a hand to her mouth, covering it, her eyes wide with shock. The Queen. Ethan realized instantly. The ruler of this planet. The one everyone on his mission reports had warned about. Ethan's stomach tightened. He had heard stories, legends really, of the alien queen's intelligence, ruthlessness, and unmatched power. She was feared across multiple star systems, and now she was staring directly at him, her golden eyes fixed on the small child clinging to him. The child, oblivious to the figure above, whispered again, "Please, don't let them take me back. Stay with me." Ethan felt a surge of protectiveness. He didn't understand why, but he couldn't just let her go, not with the Queen watching. He glanced at the Queen, trying to gauge her intentions. She didn't move, didn't signal her guards, but the intensity of her gaze said everything. She was calculating, and she was not happy. "Okay," Ethan said softly, trying to keep his voice calm. "You're safe with me. For now." The child's grip tightened. "I knew you would say that. I knew you wouldn't leave me." Ethan swallowed hard, a strange mixture of fear and determination filling him. He had faced hostile planets, dangerous creatures, and extreme environments, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. A human facing the ruler of an alien world, holding a child who called him her father without explanation. The Queen stepped back slightly, still observing. Ethan noticed a faint glow along the edges of her armor, a sign that her energy shields were active. She was ready for conflict if it came to that. But she didn't attack. Instead, she watched. He realized then that she was studying him, not just as an intruder, but as a human being trying to understand him. "Ethan," he muttered, realizing he needed a plan. "We need to move." He picked up the child carefully, holding her against his chest. "We can't stay here, not with her watching." The child nodded, eyes shining with trust. "Yes, please, go." Ethan began moving through the violet grass, careful not to make noise. The queen did not follow directly, but her presence was a heavy weight in the air, a silent reminder that every step they took was being watched. As they moved deeper into the forest, Ethan tried to make sense of the situation. "Okay, let's think. Who is she? Why does she call me Dad? And why is the queen so surprised?" The child shifted in his arms. She doesn't want me to be with you. But I choose you." Ethan paused, caught off guard. "Choose me?" The child nodded vigorously. "Yes. You keep me safe. You care for me. That's why I ran to you." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. Despite the confusion, despite the danger, despite not understanding the reason, he felt a connection, a human instinct to protect, to care, to stand against impossible odds for someone smaller and weaker. They reached a small clearing surrounded by dense trees, where the sunlight barely touched the ground. Ethan set the child down gently, scanning the area for signs of danger. "All right," he said softly. "We'll figure this out together." The child smiled faintly, clutching his hand. "Don't let her take me back, Dad." Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of resolve settle over him. He didn't know the story yet, didn't know why this child called him her father, and didn't understand the queen's shock. But he knew one thing clearly: he would protect her no matter what. High above, hidden among the trees, the queen's expression remained unreadable. But inside, her thoughts raced. She had never encountered a human like this, calm, strong, compassionate. And the child had chosen him. The first step of their story had begun, and neither Ethan nor the queen would ever be the same again. Ethan carefully led the child deeper into the dense forest. The violet grass underfoot whispered as they walked, and alien birds with bright plumage flitted overhead. Every step felt tense, as though the planet itself was watching. The child, whose name Ethan learned was Lyra, held tightly to his hand, occasionally glancing around nervously. "Are you hungry?" Ethan asked softly, trying to keep his voice calm. He had packed a small supply of food for the mission: nutrient bars, water, and a few rations designed for long journeys. He handed a bar to Lyra, who hesitated before taking it. I don't eat human food often," she said. Her voice was small, but her tone carried a weight beyond her age. "But I'll try it," Ethan nodded. "Good. We need strength if we're going to figure this out." They walked in silence for a while, only the sound of the wind and distant alien wildlife accompanying them. Ethan's mind was racing. He had questions, thousands of them, but he knew asking too many too soon could scare Lyra. Instead, he focused on observing her. Lyra's movements were graceful, almost unnatural for a child. Her eyes, bright, golden, and unusually large, scanned the surroundings constantly. Occasionally she would stop, extend a hand, and the air around her would shimmer slightly. Ethan noticed that small rocks or branches would move slightly, as if guided by her thoughts. "Lyra, can you do that on purpose?" Ethan asked cautiously. Lyra blinked at him. I don't know. Sometimes it happens when I'm scared or excited." Ethan's eyebrows shot up. This child was not ordinary. She had abilities, powers that even humans hadn't seen before. But why? And why did she recognize him as her father? As they moved further into the forest, a strange silence fell. The usual sounds of alien birds and creatures faded, replaced by a heavy stillness. Ethan tensed, scanning for danger. "They are here," Lyra whispered, clutching his arm. Before he could ask who they were, a soft rustle echoed through the trees. Figures emerged, tall, armored, and unmistakably alien. Their uniforms glowed faintly along the seams, and weapons hung at their sides. Ethan recognized them immediately as the Queen's guards. Ethan instinctively stepped in front of Lyra. "Stay behind me," he ordered calmly. The guards paused, their golden eyes scanning him. There was no immediate attack, but their stance made it clear they were ready to act at any moment. One of them stepped forward, speaking in a melodic, sharp tone. "Return the child. She belongs to the Queen." Ethan's mind raced. "I'm not taking her away from anyone. She's with me because she trusts me. That's enough." The guard tilted his head slightly. "Trust does not matter. Obedience matters. The Queen will not be denied." Lyra looked up at Ethan, her eyes wide. "Don't let them take me. Please." Ethan's jaw tightened. He had faced worse odds before, pirates, hostile planets, dangerous creatures, but nothing had prepared him for this. He had no weapons capable of taking on trained alien soldiers, and yet his instinct to protect the child surged stronger than any fear. "Fine," Ethan said slowly. "We leave now. Don't follow." The guards didn't move immediately. Their hesitation told Ethan they were unsure, but they were calculating, waiting for an opportunity. He knew they would report back. He turned to Lyra. "We have to go deeper into the forest. There's a river nearby. Water, cover, maybe a place to rest." Lyra nodded and clung to him tightly. As they moved, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. High above, hidden among the trees, the Queen observed every movement. Her expression was unreadable, a mixture of anger, confusion, and something else. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. The Queen had always controlled everything. Her people, her world, even her child's life. And yet here was a human, unarmed, protecting her daughter with nothing but instinct and care. The thought unsettled her. By the time they reached the river, Ethan and Lyra were exhausted. The water was clear and sparkling, winding through the forest like a silver ribbon. Ethan helped Lyra sit on a large stone, then knelt beside her, filling a small container with water. "You've been running a long time," Ethan said softly. "You need to rest." Lyra nodded, dipping her hands into the cool water. They want me back, but I don't want to go. I want you to stay with me." Ethan swallowed hard. "Lyra, I don't know why you call me Dad, but I promise I will protect you. No one will hurt you as long as I'm here." Lyra's golden eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "You really mean it?" "I mean it," Ethan said firmly. "I won't let anyone take you from me." Lyra leaned against him, and for the first time since he found her, Ethan allowed himself to feel the strange, overwhelming bond that had formed between them. It was not just responsibility, there was something deeper, something almost instinctive. As night fell, Ethan built a small shelter using branches and leaves, careful to leave gaps for watching the surroundings. Lyra rested beside him, occasionally peeking up at the stars, which shone brighter here than anywhere on Earth. Ethan studied her as she drifted off to sleep. "How did you even know me?" he whispered. "Who did this to you?" He didn't have answers, but he knew one thing. Someone had intentionally connected this child to him, and whoever it was had planned for him to find her. High above, the Queen retreated to her private observation chamber in the Sky Palace. She sat silently, watching the live feed of Ethan and Lyra by the river. Her thoughts were a whirlwind. "This human, he is not like the others," she murmured. "He does not act out of fear or greed. He acts out of care." For the first time, the Queen questioned her assumptions about humans. She had always believed them to be unpredictable, weak, and dangerous in the wrong ways. Yet here was Ethan, facing the unknown, protecting her daughter without hesitation or reward. A memory flashed in her mind, a younger version of Lyra, laughing and playing, untouched by fear. And then the present. The child had chosen this human over her own mother, at least in this moment. The shock, the disbelief, and the curiosity twisted inside her chest like a storm. Meanwhile, Ethan kept watch through the night. Every sound, every rustle in the forest made him alert, but nothing approached. He didn't sleep, not fully. Instead, he kept his hand close to Lyra, ready to act. "Tomorrow," he whispered softly. "We find out why. We find out what's going on, and we make sure you're safe. No matter what." Lyra stirred slightly, murmuring in her sleep. "Dad?" Ethan felt a lump form in his throat. He didn't understand it fully, the bond, the instinct, the strange certainty that he could protect her. But he embraced it. Whatever the universe had planned, he would face it. As dawn broke, painting the sky with shades of violet and gold, Ethan and Lyra prepared to move again. The forest seemed alive with light, and for the first time Ethan felt a glimmer of hope. They were not safe yet, but together they could face whatever came next. And somewhere above, the alien queen watched, her mind torn. She had underestimated the human. She had underestimated the strength of care, of empathy, and of choice, and she realized for the first time that the outcome was no longer entirely in her control. The journey was just beginning, and no one, neither human nor alien, would ever be the same again. The morning sun filtered through the towering trees, casting long shadows across the violet grass. Ethan adjusted the strap of his pack and glanced down at Lyra, who was slowly waking. Her golden eyes blinked open, full of curiosity and a hint of fear. "Good morning, Dad," she said softly, stretching her tiny arms. Ethan smiled, a strange warmth filling his chest. "Good morning, Lyra, ready to move?" Lyra nodded, climbing onto his shoulders for a better view of their surroundings. "Where are we going?" Ethan hesitated. He didn't have a clear destination. The nearest safe human outpost was far away, and the Queen's guards were likely already searching the forest. But he had an idea, a hidden valley that appeared on his sensors during the first scan. It was isolated, shielded by cliffs and thick vegetation. It might give them some breathing room. "Somewhere safe," he said. "I think I found a place where we can rest and figure things out." Lyra held tight as Ethan navigated through the dense forest, moving carefully to avoid making noise. The child's small hands occasionally brushed the plants around them, and Ethan noticed the air shimmer slightly near her fingers. Each time a small branch or leaf would lift and float gently before settling back. It was subtle but undeniable. "You're special," Ethan said quietly, studying her. "You can move things without touching them?" Lyra nodded. "I don't know how. It just happens sometimes, when I'm scared or happy, or when I want to help." Ethan's eyes widened. "That could be very useful, and dangerous if someone tries to control it." She shivered. They tried before. I don't want to go back. I want to stay with you." Ethan's heart tightened. He didn't know who they were exactly, but he knew one thing. Lyra's trust was rare, and he would do everything to protect it. After hours of careful movement, they reached the edge of a cliff overlooking a hidden valley. Mist rolled across the valley floor, hiding the terrain below. Ethan lowered Lyra gently, letting her touch the ground. "This is perfect," he whispered. "No one will find us here easily." Lyra looked around in awe. The valley was a mix of glowing flowers, small waterfalls, and crystal-clear streams. The air felt lighter, almost magical. "It's beautiful," she said softly. "I feel safe here." Ethan nodded, relieved. "Then this is our home for now." They spent the rest of the day exploring the valley, gathering edible plants and fresh water. Ethan kept watch constantly, aware that the Queen's forces were still searching. Despite the beauty of the place, the danger was never far. As evening approached, Ethan set up a small camp. He found a sheltered area under a rock overhang and built a simple barrier with branches to provide cover. Lyra sat beside him, looking at the glowing flowers and streams with wonder. "Ethan," she said quietly, "do you think the Queen will come for me?" Ethan's expression hardened. "Yes, she might. But we'll be ready. I won't let anyone take you away from me." Lyra leaned against him, her small hand holding his. "I trust you," she whispered. Ethan felt a warmth spread through his chest. He didn't understand why, but the bond between them had grown stronger in just a day. Protecting her wasn't just responsibility. It felt like instinct. Night fell, and the valley became bathed in a soft, silvery glow. Ethan stayed alert, scanning the forest and the cliffs above for any signs of movement. Lyra slept peacefully beside him, her breathing steady, her small body rising and falling. Suddenly a sound broke the quiet, a soft rustle, almost imperceptible. Ethan's eyes snapped open, scanning the shadows. A figure moved near the valley's edge. His heart raced. The Queen's guards had found them. Ethan rose slowly, keeping his voice low. "Lyra, stay behind me. Don't make a sound." The guards stepped into the moonlight, their armor glinting. They carried weapons that hummed with energy, and their eyes locked on Ethan and the child. One of them spoke, voice calm but commanding. "Return the child. Resistance will not be tolerated." Ethan tightened his fists, feeling a surge of protective determination. "I'm not giving her to you," he said firmly. "She's safe with me. If you want her, you'll have to go through me." The guard's head tilted slightly, analyzing him. "You underestimate us, human." Ethan knew they were skilled warriors, but he had something they didn't, a reason stronger than orders, a bond that no one could break. As the guards advanced, Lyra's eyes glowed faintly. Ethan noticed the same shimmer around her fingers that he had seen earlier. She raised her hand slightly, focusing. A soft force rippled through the air. The guards stumbled backward, momentarily unbalanced. Ethan's jaw dropped. The child was using her power to protect them. "Lyra, careful," he whispered, moving closer. "Don't overdo it." Lyra nodded, concentrating. Small rocks and debris lifted into the air, forming a barrier between them and the guards. The attackers paused, clearly surprised. Ethan realized that with her help they might have a chance to escape. "Follow me," he whispered to Lyra. Together they moved toward a narrow path leading deeper into the valley. The guards pursued cautiously, wary of the child's power. The journey through the valley was tense. Every step required focus, every corner could hide danger. But Ethan and Lyra moved in sync, understanding each other without words. Her powers assisted them, lifting obstacles, distracting the guards, and creating small bursts of force when needed. After hours of careful navigation, they reached a secluded cave near a waterfall. The sound of rushing water masked their presence. Ethan helped Lyra inside, setting up a small area for rest. "We're safe, for now," he said, though his voice carried the weight of uncertainty. "But we need a plan. We can't stay hidden forever." Lyra looked up at him, golden eyes reflecting the light of the waterfall. "Ethan, do you think the Queen will stop?" Ethan shook his head slowly. "No, she's strong and she's smart. But she doesn't know us yet. She doesn't understand you. And she doesn't understand me." Lyra's small hand touched his arm. "Then we just have to keep going." "Together," Ethan nodded. "Together." As they settled in for a brief rest, Ethan thought about what he had learned. Lyra was more than a child. She had powers, memories that didn't fully make sense, and a bond with him that went beyond explanation. And the Queen had underestimated him, underestimated the connection that could exist between human and alien. High above, the Queen observed from her palace's observation chamber. Her face was unreadable, but inside emotions churned. She had underestimated the strength of human care, the resilience and the courage that came from genuine love. And most of all, she had not expected the child to choose freely, to act on her own will. The Queen's thoughts were interrupted by a flash of anger. How could she choose him? A human? Her advisors were silent. They knew better than to speak while she was lost in thought. The Queen's mind raced. Plans, strategies, contingencies. But one truth remained clear. She could not predict what would happen next. Back in the cave, Ethan kept watch while Lyra slept. He allowed himself a moment to reflect, feeling the weight of responsibility and the strange joy of trust. Protecting her was not just a duty. It was a choice, and one he would not regret. The night passed slowly. Ethan remained vigilant, listening to the sounds of the valley, feeling the energy in the air. He knew challenges were coming, but he also knew something else. He was not alone. Lyra's trust, her powers, and the bond between them created a strength no force could easily break. When the first light of dawn touched the waterfall, Ethan looked at Lyra and whispered, "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Lyra smiled faintly, sleepy but determined. Together. And so, in the hidden valley, a human and an alien child prepared for the challenges ahead, unaware of the Queen's growing interest and the unfolding events that would test courage, loyalty, and the true meaning of family. The journey was far from over. Danger lurked around every corner. Mysteries waited to be revealed, and the Queen's presence loomed like a shadow over their path. Yet for the first time, Ethan felt hope. Hope that even in the vastness of space, trust and care could defy expectations, even across species. And with Lyra by his side, he was ready to face whatever the universe would throw at them. The hidden valley was bathed in the soft glow of morning, mist curling over the streams and sparkling flowers. Ethan and Lyra had spent the night in the cave, and the child awoke with a renewed sense of determination. She clutched Ethan's hand tightly, as if drawing strength from his presence. "We have to move," Ethan whispered. "We can't stay here forever. The Queen will send more guards soon, and they'll know we're still alive." Lyra nodded. "I'm ready. I trust you." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling the warmth of her trust, and together they emerged from the cave. The valley stretched out before them, alive with alien colors and strange sounds. Ethan knew they had to be careful. The Queen's forces were skilled trackers, and every step they took could bring them closer to confrontation. As they moved, Ethan noticed Lyra's powers growing stronger. She seemed more confident now, lifting small rocks and gently moving branches to clear their path. "You're amazing," he said quietly. "But be careful. You don't want to show too much yet." Lyra's golden eyes sparkled. "I'll be careful. I promise." The journey was tense, every rustle of leaves or distant chirp making Ethan alert. He had faced dangerous planets and hostile creatures before, but this was different. The danger wasn't from the environment. It was from intelligent beings who wanted to take Lyra back. And he didn't yet understand all the rules of their world. Suddenly, the trees parted to reveal a wide clearing. Ethan froze. There, standing tall and regal, was the alien queen herself. Her armor gleamed in the morning light, and her eyes, golden and sharp, were fixed on them. Lyra froze as well, but she didn't let go of Ethan's hand. "Ethan," the queen said, her voice calm but powerful, carrying authority that made the air feel heavy. "Step aside." "Give me my daughter." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I won't," he said firmly. "She's with me because she trusts me. She chooses to stay." The queen's eyes narrowed. "Choose? She is my child. You do not understand the consequences of your actions. This is not your decision to make." Lyra tugged at Ethan's hand. "Please, I want to stay with him," she said softly. Her voice was steady, filled with a determination that surprised even Ethan. The queen's gaze flickered to Lyra, and for the first time, a flash of uncertainty crossed her face. She had always controlled everything, the lives of her people, the safety of her child. But here was the human, unarmed and defiant, standing in the way of her command. And the child had chosen him. Why? The queen whispered almost to herself. Why would she choose a human over her own mother? Ethan took a step forward, keeping his tone calm. "Because she trusts me and I protect her. That's all that matters." The queen studied him, her golden eyes sharp and calculating. She had faced countless threats, skilled warriors and cunning diplomats, but this human was different. He was not clever with words nor armed with advanced technology. But there was something in his actions, a courage and care that no force could ignore. "You do not understand what you are dealing with," she said, her voice growing colder. "I am the ruler of this world. Obedience is law. You will hand her over, or what?" Ethan asked, meeting her gaze steadily. "You'll attack me? Take her by force? That won't work. She trusts me and she chooses me." The queen's expression hardened. She was used to absolute control, and yet, here was a child defying her orders and a human standing in support. Something inside her shifted, a feeling she had not felt in centuries, frustration mixed with curiosity. Lyra stepped closer to Ethan, her small hand in his. "I choose him," she said clearly. "I want him to be my father. I want to stay with him. Please don't make me go back." The queen's breath caught. She had expected fear, obedience, hesitation, but not this. The child was not just scared or compliant. She was making her own choice. And the human was respecting that choice, not threatening her, not bargaining, simply standing firm. Ethan felt a surge of hope. He knelt slightly to be at Lyra's level. "You're safe, Lyra. No one can make you go back. Not today, not ever, as long as I'm here." The queen's lips pressed together, and for a long moment no one spoke. Then she said softly, almost reluctantly, "So, this is what it means. Humans. They fight with more than weapons. They fight with care, with loyalty, with something." I did not understand. Ethan looked at her, surprised. "You're impressed?" The queen's eyes narrowed. "Do not misunderstand. I am not weak. I am testing you. If you truly care for this child, you will prove it, without force, without lies. Only your actions will show your worth." Ethan nodded, understanding the challenge. "I will prove it. Not to you, but to her. I will keep her safe, and I will earn her trust every day." Lyra's eyes widened with excitement. "You can do it, Dad." "I believe in you." The queen studied them both, realizing that her attempts at control were failing. Here was a human, unarmed, yet unshakable in his resolve. And here was her daughter, asserting her own will for the first time. The queen felt a strange mixture of admiration and frustration. She had not anticipated this outcome. Ethan and Lyra spent the day in the valley, working together to gather food, reinforce their shelter, and explore the area. The queen observed from a distance, hidden in the trees, analyzing every move. She noted Ethan's careful attention to Lyra's safety, his patience and his ability to think ahead without panic. She had underestimated humans, and now she had to reconsider everything she thought she knew about them. By evening, Ethan had taught Lyra a simple way to control her abilities, guiding her to focus her energy to move small objects gently and safely. Lyra's confidence grew, and Ethan felt a growing sense of pride. He realized that their bond was more than just protection, it was partnership. The Queen's observation continued. She saw the child laughing, playing, and learning under Ethan's guidance. The warmth between them was undeniable. She realized, with a mixture of shock and something she could not name, that humans were capable of emotions that could not be measured by strategy or power alone. That night, Ethan and Lyra sat by the waterfall, watching the stars reflected in the streams. The world felt peaceful, yet tension lingered. They knew the Queen was still watching, and more challenges were certain to come. "Ethan," Lyra said quietly, resting her head on his shoulder, "do you think she'll ever accept me staying with you?" Ethan considered this carefully. "I don't know. But she's learning. And I know this, she can't take away what we have. You chose me and I chose you. That's stronger than anything else." Lyra smiled, her golden eyes shining. "I'm glad I found you." Ethan smiled back. "Me too, Lyra, me too." Far above, the Queen returned to her palace, thoughtful and silent. She could not stop the child's choice, nor could she deny the human's courage and care. She realized that for the first time she faced a situation she could not fully control. The child's will and the human's heart had created a force that even she, with all her power, could not easily challenge. The night passed quietly in the valley. Ethan stayed alert, watching for any signs of the Queen's forces. Lyra slept peacefully beside him, and he felt a sense of hope he had never known before. Together they had faced impossible odds, and together they would face whatever came next. As dawn approached, Ethan stood and looked out over the valley. "Today we learn more. We find answers, and we keep moving forward." Lyra climbed onto his shoulders, her small hands clutching his head. "I'm ready, Dad." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the strength of their bond. No matter what the Queen or her forces did, he would protect this child. He would face every challenge, every danger, and every mystery with her by his side. The journey was far from over, but for the first time Ethan felt that hope, courage, and care could overcome even the most formidable obstacles. And with Lyra trusting him completely, he knew they could face anything together. The valley lay quiet as dawn broke over the horizon, soft light glinting off the streams and the violet grass. Ethan and Lyra had spent the night discussing strategies, exploring the terrain, and learning to work together even more closely. Each moment strengthened their bond and prepared them for the inevitable confrontation with the Queen. Lyra woke first, rubbing her eyes. "Ethan, do you think she'll come today?" Ethan took a deep breath, scanning the valley. The mist curled in the early light, hiding the cliffs and edges where danger could appear. "I don't know," he admitted. "But we have to be ready. She's powerful and smart. She might try to test us, maybe even trick us. We can't let her." Lyra's golden eyes narrowed with determination. "I'm ready. I trust you." Ethan smiled faintly. "And I trust you too. Together, we can handle whatever comes." They packed their few supplies and moved cautiously toward a higher ridge, giving them a better view of the valley and the forest beyond. The air was tense, charged with anticipation, but for now there was no sign of the Queen or her guards. As they climbed, Ethan spoke softly. "Lyra, I want to understand everything. Why do they call you the Queen's daughter? Why do they want you back so badly?" Lyra hesitated, looking down at the violet grass below. I don't remember everything. I know I was with her. She raised me. But something inside me, something told me I had to leave. I had to find you. I don't know why, but I felt it." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It's okay. We'll figure it out together. Your past, your powers, everything will make sense. And whatever it is, we'll face it together." Before they could move further, a sudden shimmer appeared at the ridge's edge. Ethan's eyes widened. The Queen had arrived, her form cutting a regal silhouette against the sunlight. She stepped forward, unarmed, yet radiating authority and power that made the air itself seem heavier. "Ethan," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "And Lyra." Lyra instinctively stepped behind Ethan, but he placed a hand gently on her back. "It's okay. She's here to talk, at least for now. The Queen's gaze shifted to Lyra, softening ever so slightly. Child, why did you leave? Why did you come to him? Lyra swallowed, her small hands clenching. Because I trusted him. He keeps me safe. He doesn't tell me what to do, he listens. And he cares. The Queen's expression changed, a mixture of surprise and something she had not expected. Admiration. She had ruled with absolute authority for centuries, commanding loyalty and obedience. Yet this human's care and courage had touched something deep within her. Ethan stepped forward. Your Majesty, I don't want conflict. I'm not here to fight. I want to protect Lyra, and I want to help her understand her powers, her choices, and her life. The Queen's golden eyes studied him. You are different from what I expected. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but you are steadfast, caring, and brave. And the child, she chose you. Lyra's face lit up with hope.
See, I told you, Dad.
The Queen's lips pressed together, a faint smile crossing her face. Perhaps I have underestimated humans, and the strength that comes from trust and love. You have proven yourself worthy, not through force or skill, but through your heart. Ethan nodded, humbled. I just did what any parent would do. I protect her no matter what. That's my choice. The Queen stepped closer, studying them both carefully. Your bond is remarkable, and yet, you must understand, Lyra. Your powers are unique. They are a gift of this planet, and they are connected to our people's legacy. You cannot ignore them forever. Lyra looked at Ethan. I know, but I don't want to use them to hurt people or be forced to do things I don't understand. I just want to help like we did yesterday. Ethan nodded, squeezing her hand. And that's exactly how we'll do it. We'll learn together, and you'll decide how to use your powers. The Queen watched, her heart conflicted. For centuries she had ruled with authority, shaping her daughter's life, guiding her choices, and expecting obedience. And yet here was a human standing firm, showing care, patience, and trust, and the child had responded in a way the Queen could never have forced. You have chosen well, Lyra, the Queen said softly. Perhaps it is time for me to accept that your path is your own. And perhaps I can learn from this human as well. Ethan blinked, slightly surprised by the Queen's words. Learn from me? She nodded. Yes, you demonstrate courage, loyalty, and care in ways I have not seen in centuries. Perhaps the universe is teaching me something new through you. Lyra beamed. See, Dad? I told you humans are amazing. Ethan chuckled softly. I guess I'm learning too. From both of you. The Queen stepped back, her posture relaxing for the first time in what seemed like an eternity. I will not take you back, Lyra. Not if your choice is to stay with him. But you must understand. Your powers are important and you must learn to control them responsibly. Ethan, will you help her? I will, Ethan said without hesitation. I will guide her, protect her, and teach her. And she will make her own choices always. The Queen studied them for a moment longer, then slowly nodded. Very well. Then it is decided. Lyra will remain with you, and I will respect her choice. But know this, she is my daughter, and I will always watch over her. And you. You have my respect, human. Ethan felt a weight lift from his chest. The Queen's acknowledgement was more than he could have hoped for. He looked at Lyra, whose golden eyes sparkled with joy and relief. Thank you, Lyra whispered. Ethan hugged her tightly. We did it, Lyra. Together. The Queen turned to leave, her presence still commanding, but her demeanor softened. I will allow this, for now. But remember, the universe is vast and challenges will come. You must remain strong, Ethan, and teach Lyra wisely. Ethan nodded. I will. I promise. As the Queen disappeared into the forest, Ethan and Lyra looked at each other, a sense of victory and hope filling the valley. For the first time, they felt truly free, able to live, learn, and grow without fear of being torn apart. Lyra's hands rested on Ethan's shoulders. I'm glad I found you. I knew you'd keep me safe. Ethan smiled, a mix of pride and relief washing over him. And I'm glad I found you, Lyra. You've taught me courage, patience, and the meaning of trust in ways I never knew. They spent the rest of the day exploring the valley, gathering resources and practicing Lyra's powers in controlled ways. Ethan taught her how to focus, how to use her energy without harming others, and how to remain calm even when danger was near. Lyra's confidence grew, and her control became steadier. By nightfall, they sat beside the waterfall once again, watching the stars reflected in the streams. The valley felt alive with possibility, and for the first time Ethan felt a profound sense of hope. "Ethan," Lyra said softly, "do you think we'll ever leave this valley?" Ethan looked out over the shimmering water. "Maybe one day, but for now, this is our place. A place to learn, grow, and be together. No one can take that away from us," Lyra smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "Together," she whispered. Ethan hugged her tightly. Together. High above, the queen watched from her palace, a faint smile on her lips. She had not expected this outcome, but she understood it now. The human had proven himself worthy not through strength or skill, but through heart, patience, and care. And the child's choice was her own. The universe was vast, filled with unknown challenges and wonders. But in that hidden valley, a human and an alien child had forged a bond that could withstand anything. An unbreakable connection built on trust, courage, and love. And as the stars shone brightly over the valley, Ethan knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together. Because some bonds are stronger than fear, stronger than power, and stronger than the universe itself. Together, they were unstoppable.